Hi, welcome into the First Day Podcast. My name is Michael Govier with my wonderful, lovely girlfriend and co-host, Leanne. Hello, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We have a special guest today to talk about whatever the hell's we feel like talking about. It's a mental health conversation. That's what we do in the show. It's also about wisdom, empowerment, education. It's about learning and try to learn from others about this crazy, crazy life that we lead. And that will definitely happen today because we have on someone that I used to know in a previous life, sort of. Not really. I really don't know her that well, but we used to be technically family in legal sense, probably, but I don't even know what it is. All I know is she's a great singer. She's got a great personality, and seriously, check out her stuff. Like, Emily can sing. I shared some of your videos when you were in high school. I was like, damn, that girl can sing, and I was telling everybody about it, and you have only gotten better, but I don't want to focus on the singing entirely, but you're really damn good. Welcome, Emily. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I shared that TikTok that you did with you singing the waves, and you were just like, you look so cute, and you were doing hey Ed.
Hi Ed.
And yeah, so Mike is gonna pop up the comments that end up coming in here. There we go. That's so nice. Anyway, it was so awesome because I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh man, people don't even know that this is her voice. It just looks like she's just doing like a overlay. You know how people are just like, saying J-Lo and whatever. I was like, they don't even know this is actually her. It's just, It's amazing. You're so good.
You guys are so sweet. Also, Mike, as a side note, I was like, what was the relationship? You are my former step uncle.
Is that it? Okay, there we go.
It.
Great. I'll tell you what, I wasn't much of an uncle back then. I was probably a total bozo. I'd be a pretty good uncle now, I feel like. But back then, oh my God. I mean, imagine your 20-year-old self, for example. I mean, what do you have to offer?
I'd rather not. Yeah. Your brother Josh was a great uncle at the time. I think he was like 16 then. We would play video games all the time. It was great.
Oh my God, there he is. He's here.
Hey,
look at that.
Hi.
Wow. Josh was definitely like, he had empathy at a much younger age than I did. Because like he was so kind and caring to you. I remember that. He was very
sweet.
He was. And that's amazing. Yeah, Josh is here. He's in the ether out there.
Hello.
Hey, Josh. Anyways, so this is Emily Rooker. Emily, what should people know about you? If they don't know who you are, what's the elevator pitch on Emily Rooker?
Well, I mean, the first thing you would have to know is that I'm Mike's former step niece. I mean, that's
we got that. Yeah.
The number one thing to really focus on. Okay, I guess the quick and dirty. I'm a musician and an artist based in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm originally from Michigan. The accent is mostly gone, but probably by the end of this conversation, it'll be back. But I think, Leanne, you're from Canada, right?
I am.
Yeah. Yes. So I'll have a nice mix going on in a second. I don't know. I am a hobbyist pole dancer, so that's fun. I am a former life coach, so I know some things. I didn't finish college the first time I tried. I went to Berkeley College of Music, and I ended up dropping out, but I'm back finishing my undergrad now and working on releasing my third studio album, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, that's me. I love Survivor. I have 3 dogs. I'm a Pisces. I mean, these are the highlights.
That's good stuff. Berkeley College of Music ain't no joke, though. That's
well, I dropped out.
So what, though? But you got in, though, and you probably... Did you at least meet some cool musicians there that maybe you still keep in touch with? Or
yeah, I did. I met a lot of cool people there. Yeah, a lot of like amazing artists. And actually, I think that like all the famous people who went to Berkeley, like John Mayer or Phoebe Bridgers, they all dropped out. So that's kind of like the cool thing to do.
Yes, everybody knows you don't go all the way. Like if you got talent, you're like, I'm out of here. Yeah.
Bye.
I'll stick around for these classes. Come on.
Correct.
My friend just saw Phoebe Bridgers on Tuesday night. She was here in Michigan.
So that's awesome. She's great.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. I love music. Leanne knows that about me. Leanne loves music too. But Leanne, Leanne has an issue. There's a mental health issue with music for her because she feels that some people were too snobby about music in high school and they ruined it for her.
Oh
This
no.
is true.
Who are these people? Who ruined music for you?
It's true. I do have a little bit of a trauma about it. And it was funny he's bringing it up because he came to Canada and we went to this record store that I haven't been to since high school. And it's a really cool, like, I feel like it's a really cool record store. Like they've
It
got a
is.
lot. Yeah. 2 levels. Like they've got everything
Vinyl,
there.
old
that you
vinyl,
need.
new vinyl. Yeah, they got everything.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I just like walked in and wanted to walk out because I just like it brought back all these memories that like if you didn't remember or you didn't know all the bands, all the people, all the things that they did, all the like you just weren't cool enough. And I just didn't care enough.
Who are
I
these people?
I loved music. And so then I ended up bringing it into like because when I met Mike, because he was so into music, I was like, oh my gosh,
I'm in trouble.
this is gonna be the problem. This is gonna be the reason why we're not gonna make it. So
Oh, no way.
yeah, but no, he has introduced me to so many good, well, you. So
Oh.
he's introduced me to some really good music. And I'm not one of those people, I don't remember anybody's names of songs, names of artists, anything. I just know what I like. And yeah, but I remember your voice, it's just so I don't even know how to explain it, but it's something that like I feel like I would have loved when I was younger, but I adore now. And then I'm like when I introduce it to like my parent, like my mom, I feel like it's just like crosses generations. It's just such a beautiful sound. If that makes any sense. I don't know if it does, but
I really appreciate that. I've been feeling like so I'm 28, so I'm like a millennial, I guess
yeah, just a
technically.
baby.
Thank God, please. I feel like I'm getting old and I'm getting scared. But anyway,
That's typical. That's typical though. Hey,
Yeah.
that ain't shit on 40 though. Come on, it's
Yeah.
amateur hour.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that. But I feel like what I notice, oh, thanks, Josh,
Very
is
true.
like Gen X people really like my vibe, and so do like teenagers, like really young people. So I feel like I don't know where people my age are at, but every time I meet like teenagers at shows, they like think I'm cool, which is psychotic because I'm like so lame and don't do anything. But they're just like, you're so cool. And I'm like, what alternate universe are we in right now? But thank you.
You are.
You are
I
cool,
feel like
yeah.
you are. And I've watched your like, oh gosh, I don't even know. I don't know where I saw you. Instagram, Facebook, whatever. They're all a blur to me. So I saw you on social media. But it's just you're so yourself. I think that's what's really
Yes.
cool is that you are just so you. And what I like is that you changes. So it's you know how like some of these artists have like a persona and so that's all that you would see. And then if the paparazzi caught them, you'd be like, "What? That's not who they are." But you're just you and so you've got like oh god, I don't know. It is
Authenticity.
so cool.
Yeah, it means everything. People catch on to that. It's getting harder to be fake now and actually connect with people because people are buying the bullshit. We're getting a better barometer overall as a society for authentic and genuine connections.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, well, that's really sweet of you to say. That's really nice. And I always think it's interesting because I get this feedback a lot and I have to remind people in my real life, like, that social media is not real. Like, even that is like, it's fake. Like, it's a fake version of me that I'm putting out there in hopes that people like it. And I mean, I am being myself. I'm not like pretending to be someone else, but it's a highlight reel. Like it's completely just the best snapshots of what I want people to see. And it doesn't include everything else, all the struggling. Even if I choose to share about struggling, it's usually to achieve a specific aim. Yeah, I do. And I've had a friend who was like, I was having a really bad, actually, mental health like episode earlier this year in April. And I was talking to a friend about it and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you like seem so good on social media." And I'm like, social media is fucking fake. Like I'm telling you, it's not real. Like it's just not real. So I'm glad that people feel like they know me, and I'm trying to be real and authentic, but it's still like it's a sliver of everything. Like,
Yeah.
always remember that.
Well, you could still be honest and real. Well, actually, you could be authentic and genuine and be yourself, but you don't have to reveal everything. But both those
Right.
things that can happen simultaneously, and there is a part of us that we should all keep private. But I also, me personally, I've just decided to be very open about everything, mainly because there's stigmas involved, and I want to kill stigmas as much as I possibly can. Addiction,
Yeah.
anything mental health disorder related. I just think it's important. If they don't want me to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder about this too, because I talk a lot about mental health and my struggles, and I'm very straightforward. And I even feel like there's an expectation of like you say you're not doing well, and then like a week later people are like you're good again, right? Like you're fine. Like you
Yep.
talked about it and now you're good, and it's like, no bitch, I'm not good still. And so I'm always wondering, like, when we're talking about it, what is our goal? Like, what are we trying to achieve by talking about it? Because sometimes I feel like I'll be like, I'm not doing good, I need a lot of support, and then 4 days later people comment to me like, oh, but you're good now. And I'm like, that's not how this works. So I'm like, what are we doing?
Especially with loss. People, you just don't get over that. It's something that sticks with you forever. At least for me, in my experience, the experiences can vary. I get that. But I think there is, when it comes to support from others and loved ones, that's why it grows tiresome for certain people, because they want to move. They just don't have it. It could be exhausting to help someone. Like someone in addiction, for example, like me, when I was in opioid addiction. I've said this many times, and my mom just like ran out of gas. Like she just couldn't give anymore. My brother had his own experience, and then I had mine. Even after I saw him go through it, that just shows you that nothing to do with being smart or aware. It'll happen to you no matter what, if you're not dealing with the internal trauma inside. But eventually, the loved ones just, it's not their fault. They're just, at a certain point, you just want to live your life and you can't give anymore. And that's why specialists and helping professionals exist, because we need to lean on them, because it's their job to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think too, like I've had my own substance abuse problems, and it's it's like a lifelong thing that I feel like ebbs and flows as I grow older. But something that has really helped me is to realize that like there's nothing wrong with you as a person if you become addicted to something. Like it's called addiction because it's like a physical reaction. The dependency is like caused by the substance, not by some deficit that you have.
It's not a moral issue. It's not about willpower.
Right. No, absolutely not. And so my father passed away when I was 7. He was an alcoholic, and eventually that ended his life. And for the longest time I was like, why couldn't he just like get better? Like what was wrong with him? And then through my own struggles, I realized like, oh, alcohol is a very addictive substance. Like if you drink enough and for long enough, like that would happen to everyone, just if you sustain the use. So it's not like a personal failing. And it's really a failing that we don't talk about how dangerous those things are outside of individual choice, and just as like what they are. So yeah, I don't know.
Very good point.
Alcohol's everywhere, and it's one of the most deadly substances out there. I mean, people say, "Oh, heroin's deadly." Sure, it's deadly, but we make it seem worse because it's a Schedule I drug. But alcohol's on every corner, and it could kill everybody just as easily. It might take a little bit longer, but it doesn't have to take that long. I mean, I've told you that your father was a very great influence in my life. It's amazing that he could have such an influence and then just be gone from this earth. And you don't think of it when you're young. I didn't think much of it at the time, but as I've had perspective now, and I've passed his age, he died so young in his 30s.
So crazy.
I'm in my 40s now. And I look back and like, wow, mentoring people or like reaching out to helping people when they're in their development stages at youth really does have an impact. And even if they don't recognize it at the time, they will later, because your dad was there. We had a father, my mom and dad were divorced. I was 5 years old, and he wasn't around much, and having people like that as a pick-me-up to, like, play Madden with us or whatever, just dumb stuff to make us laugh or have a good time. And that stuff matters a lot. And I think people miss that sometimes. But at the same time, he's your father. I'm talking about a guy like, yeah, he was cool in my life, right? But like, it's your fucking dad. And I have no idea what that feels like. I could try to guess, but I don't know.
Oh, you will someday.
Yeah, well, right, yeah. Right?
Yeah, not to be dark about it, but
it's gonna happen. My dad's gonna die.
Unfortunately, we're all gonna die.
Shit, Leanne, I told you. See, I told you, Leanne, everyone's gonna die. She never believes me.
But I think I think about this all the time about, like, there's this duality that happens with me where I have like this huge ego and I think everyone like really cares like what I'm doing and that they're thinking about me all the time, and they're just not. But also at the same time, like, we have such an impact on other people without even realizing it. And so I think a lot about like that balance of like, people are not like obsessed with you. They're not always mad at you, blah, blah, blah. But you are influencing them in ways that like you probably don't even realize. And so it's beautiful, like, to have that all going on.
Yeah. And I think that, what does that have to say? Okay, hold on one second. I'm just going to warn you, Emily, we didn't warn you in the beginning. So when he does jump those up, what I do is just try not to look at the bottom of the screen. Because otherwise it's too hard to like keep forming your sentence, because then it's like, oh, okay.
She's very squirrely. She's squirrely.
I am.
So.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay,
so go ahead. You had a point you wanted to say.
Yeah, oh God, see here, squirrel. I don't remember. I think it was, when you were asking about like, so what's the whole point with us talking about when we're going through struggles or when we're not having such a good day or when whatever, like, what's the point if people have such a little attention that they're like, oh, okay. And then a couple of days later, they're like, oh no, Emily's back. She's fine. She's great. The whole thing is because yes, people want to just brush it off and make sure you're okay, because then they can kind of check it off their book and just be like, okay, I don't have to worry about that anymore. But the whole reason of talking about it is so then the people that are struggling with it, that doesn't hear anything anywhere about it and thinks that they're alone and they're weird or why is this happening? Everybody else on social media looks like they're having a great time. That's why it needs to happen. And if everybody could just give, when they're having the low days, or even when they're not having a low day, even when they're having a good day, and then they're like, you know what, I woke up and it wasn't great, but now I had, whatever it is, then it'll feed the social media, the whole homepage, where it's not you talking about it every day, but it's you talking about it, Mike talking about it, me talking about it, somebody else talking about it. So in a given day, there will be feed inside of there that it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, she's having it too. And I think that's what it is, because I agree with you. I think it's like people just want to brush it off, and people just want to like, oh, you had a bad day and now you're good. Please tell me you're good, so we don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation.
Right. Right. Well, it's like you said, like, if people want you to be okay immediately, like, that's about them, not you.
100%.
Like, they're like, I want to fix that so that I don't have to feel uncomfortable that you're sad.
Yes.
So I'm like, all you can do is just be like, I'm here for you. You don't have to feel better. It's so much more helpful. And like, realize when you want to fix someone and you can't, like, and why you're uncomfortable. It's because you care, but you can't do anything. Like, you can't fix someone else.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well said. We're talking live with Emily Rooker here. You can follow her at Erookstagram. Erookstagram. I like that.
Yeah.
Erookstagram. Sounds like aristocrat. Erookstagram.
Yeah.
Are you an aristocrat? Are you classy, high class lady?
I don't think so. No. I really don't think so. To illustrate this point, well, number one, there's a blanket up in my window to block the sunlight. And downstairs for like almost a whole year, we had towels up in the window, and I just finally put curtains up. So no, definitely not an aristocrat. In fact, kind of trashy.
Yeah, that's that Michigan trash coming
Yes.
in. Woo-hoo! That
Correct.
Heartland trash.
We love to see it.
It's funny that you point that
Yeah.
out. I thought that was like an old vintage couch or something behind you. I was
Oh,
trying to
that is
figure it
true,
out. I was
yeah.
like, is she sitting on the floor? And that's and I was just trying to like
Let's go
gauge
with
what was
that.
happening. Yeah.
Oh,
Very cute.
Josh says, mine as well, Emily. He definitely impacted me. I think he's talking about your dad.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot being a father. Josh has 2 kids now, so
that's
that makes
sweet.
sense. You don't have any kids, right, Emily?
No, sir, I do not.
Neither do I. Hey, no kids here, right, Leanne?
Congratulations.
Okay, life.
Yeah. Oh my God, Leanne, you found a new friend. Leanne doesn't want to have kids at all. So.
No.
Good. Respect. Props to you. Okay, I have to ask you this because are you almost 40-ish, Leanne?
41.
41.
Like
yeah.
I'm past it. I'm in it. I'm there.
I'm in it. Well, good for you. You made it.
Yes.
So I'm wondering when you were like, this is the phase I'm in now, like in your late 20s, all your friends start having kids and you're kind of like, what the hell is going on? I feel like really awkward. I don't know how to be there for them. So I'm wondering like if you kind of went through that adjustment and like how you came out the other side.
Yes. So, okay. So without being, I mean, we can take this offline and we can get personal about why you're not doing it. But if you really like if you truly do not want to have children, at least right now, and who knows, like you might decide later on, who cares? But if for right now, your truth is, I don't want children, then what's going to happen probably, and maybe not, but for me anyway, and a lot of my girlfriends, is that we have this thing that we feel like we need to explain ourselves, like that we're a bad person because we don't want to procreate. Like it's this weird thing that we should be. And so I tell all my girlfriends that don't want kids, I'm like, you need to, the first thing, and it's the same thing with anything, you need to just own it. And this is who you are. And then one of the things that I always said was, I don't want to have children, but I love kids. I just don't want any of my own. And unfortunately, that's something that I still say because I feel like I have to like caveat it. Like, no, I'm not against children. I like children and puppies. Like I'm still like,
no kids,
right?
Ever
like,
again.
Keep them away from me, please. So, yes. So, and then like, do you like kids? Do you like being around them?
Sometimes.
Okay. So if you like, this is the nice thing.
Some kids are dicks. Like people act like all kids are like cool and chill, but some kids, honestly, not fun to be around. Some
I don't
are.
believe you. I don't believe that.
Absolutely.
Children are angels. Okay, they're God's gift to humanity.
I do kind of like kids that are rabble rousers, though. I like when they have a bit of like just like fuck shit up energy. I'm here for that.
See, that's awesome. And that's actually probably really good for them to have you in their life. So then you can, you know, embrace that, which their parents probably are not.
Yeah, you should teach middle school. If you're into that kind of attitude, you should teach middle school. That would be perfect for you because those kids, there's nothing. There's no stakes, and it's a free-for-all. I taught middle school. I taught high school and middle school for 5 years. And
you did?
Middle school was hell. I'd take high school any day of the week. Any day of the week. They're just so
I always hear that, but why? Like, what's the big difference?
It's that early puberty's developing, right? You know, like 8th graders, they're the worst because they're like into puberty now, but they don't know what's going on. So there's no stakes. I made this point all the time. There's no transcripts or anything. Like nobody cares about middle school. There's really nothing at stake. And they know it because they're like, oh, when I get to high school, that's when I really, I got to settle down or try harder. People are starting to game the system and the kids just are confused and they're up and they're down. Women and the boys and the girls. It's just, there's no gender distinctions or anything. It's just everybody's,
wah!
Yeah, that's crazy. I could never do that. Like ever. So
I couldn't either. That's why I got the fuck out.
Bye.
Yeah. Of course, I was addicted to pills too, but I still would have left anyway. So that's a side note. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
That doesn't help anything. Yeah.
Does not at all. Josh says both his kids have personality for days. Mike can attest. He has spent time with them. That's right. I have. I saw them couple months ago. Hormones. That's right. That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Oh,
you remember my mom? Her? Yeah, there she is.
Hello.
She's Michelle Katz now. Hi, Michelle Katz. Hey. So yes, well, okay, that's enough children talk. I don't want to spend more time on that because there's so many other things But that's a good point. I think it's a great point.
Shut that
Women
down.
are kind of like, if you're not having kids, you seem like you're a weirdo, right? As a
Well,
woman.
this is why I just said this the other day. So like I was just talking with some friends because we were kind of talking about gender and like sort of deconstructing what gender is and sort of feeling gender fluid. And I was like, I'm going to keep claiming womanhood like with my chest out of spite because I want people to know that womanhood is not just about like having a uterus and giving birth. Like,
Amen.
fuck that. That's trash. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not here for that. Why is that the defining trait of a woman? Like, nah, I'm not here for it.
That's what's always bothered me. I'm like, I mean, I'm a guy, so I'm not in the conversation, but as a viewer of the conversation, I'm like, why is this the defining
Right.
paradigm for women? Like, I
Right.
feel like I think things got all backwards, and you guys can stop me when I'm wrong because I am a male here, and I'm definitely not trying to mansplain. I'm just saying that women got caught up in a structure where they were constantly like, okay, I'm going to get married and have kids, and that's like the attainable goal of living a quality life in the United States. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Why does that have to be the attainable goal? Why can't a career or whatever the hell you want it to be? I don't
Right.
know.
Well, and like even if two people, like a man and a woman, hey, great to see you too, Michelle. A man and a woman decide to have kids, like ultimately the societal expectation is that at the end of the day, the kids are that woman's responsibility.
Ooh, man.
And that I'm also not here for. I'm like, you were part of this, like you impregnated her, so what the fuck? Like you need to be part of this.
Yeah. The worst part is when they say like the wife goes with her girlfriends for one night, like a year, and
Yeah.
he babysits the kids. You're not babysitting.
Those are your
You're
kids,
taking care of
dog.
your children. Like we're babysitting all year long. Is that what we're doing? No. So it's like it's the most bizarro thing I've ever.
It's psychotic. So yeah, I've struggled with wanting to have kids because of all of that stuff. Like we need to be in lockstep that it's an equal partnership. Like I am not the primo only caregiver because I'm not doing that. Like I'm not interested in that at all.
See, this is why I wanted to have you on. Go ahead, Leah.
Well, I was just gonna say, but you could definitely like. So that's why I think it's important just to figure out like. For any decision that we're making in anything, going to school, getting a job, having kids, getting married, whatever it is, there's always like we need to like step back and look inside and really figure out what our thing is, like aside from any kind of norms, any kind of anything, and figure out what that is. Because I would hate for you not to have kids because you have this thing that it's oh, I'm not going to find somebody that I'm going to be able to do 50-50 with. And then you just shut it down because I think you'd be a great mom, not like, oh, because you're a woman. And like, I have to say that to every woman because you feel this way. I think it would be amazing if you were a mom and able to instill this in your kids, whether you have, you know, a little boy or a little girl or whatever. But I feel like we need to come up with those decisions for ourselves and then figure out all the rest of it later. You know, but
yeah. I also think it's tough in general. Like I don't think that just because you'd be good at something is a good reason to do it.
No, absolutely not. No.
We're told that about like careers, kids, all these things. Like, okay, maybe you're good at it, but do you want to do it?
That's exactly.
I'm a really good sharpshooter. I should be a sniper.
Oh, that'd be sick.
I mean, that's what. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like women. It's like, oh, you have a uterus. You were given a uterus. Don't let it go to waste.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
It's not.
I have an appendix. I'm never going to use that. So yeah. Well,
Yeah. No, absolutely. I've been told that a lot. Like because I'm nice or because I'm good with kids, I volunteer with kids. I do a lot with kids. You should be a mother. Like what? No,
you better
I
be.
should not be a mother. So I'm also very selfish. Like I want my own time. So no, I should not be a mother because when that baby cries in the middle of the night, I don't want to get up for it. Like I just don't.
It's your life. You should be selfish.
Yeah. And no, like who wants to be raised by someone who doesn't want them anyway?
Right.
Like even if you're good at it, like who cares?
Right.
Recipe for disaster right there. And that's what you have. You have a whole there's hundreds of thousands of children that are being raised by people that didn't want them. That is happening right now. It sucks, but it's true.
100%.
And that's where all this stuff comes from, all this trauma and disorders. A lot of it comes from decisions were made, and being a parent is the greatest responsibility of all. I don't care what anybody says. I know that. That's why I respect it so much that I never even came close. I never even had, I never impregnated anybody or even wanted to in any way. And I took it very, very seriously. I went out of my way to use condoms as a man because it was terrifying. And I was like, oh my God, I saw my own parents too. I'll be honest. My own parents' marriage didn't go well. It just didn't. Mom, you know that. You're watching right now. You could attest to that. It's no secret. And in the end, that also impacted me. So in a way, it kind of helped me in that sense, which is weird. But I'm just wondering, Emily, the pressure, is it a day-to-day pressure that you feel as a woman? This conversation we're having about you should have kids or you should feel that you should have children, that is a mental health issue that you have to kind of deal with.
Yeah, it's not daily, but I do talk about it a lot. And I do have dear friends with kids and friends who are, 10, 15, 20 years older than me who I kind of look to be like, how did you navigate through this? Like, what happened? How did it all go? So I really feel okay. Like, I do think someday I'll have kids. I'm not in like a rush to do it at all. And I think I just always want to be sure I'm not making decisions like out of spite or like to prove someone wrong.
Right.
Like, I would never want to be like, yeah, I'm going to have kids to like show them how you should have kids and like how it should be done and be like, yeah, I have kids, but like I still fuck and like do all these things and I'm still a person. Like, that's not the right reason to do it. So I'm always like trying to check myself and, don't do things to prove someone wrong or to prove a point. Do them because you want to, and it's going to make you happy. So, anyway, it is a pressure. It is people like, sorry, mom, if you're listening, she keeps being like, give me grandkids. And I keep being like, ha, 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 no.
I love your mom, by the way. God, I haven't seen your mom in years. Your mom was the best. Hi, Leslie,
great.
you're the best. I
Hi,
hope I wasn't too much of an asshole when I was a kid. You're the best.
So people, they do want it. They do assume like that one day it will happen. And I just think it's not fair. It's not assumed of men in the same way at all. Like, it's just not. So I don't think it's fair. Everyone should do what they want to do, but I don't like that. I also don't like rules. I don't like being told what to do. So I hate when people assume or tell me I should do something.
That sounds like me, Leanne, right?
It does. It does.
Yeah. Don't tell me what to do. I'll figure it out. Okay? I will ask for your advice, and I want to gain wisdom from others. But yeah, I agree with you there. That is challenging. Let's talk about some other stuff too here. So, as someone who struggles, do you struggle with depression, or is it something that just kind of you get depressed sometimes? Because I've never been clinically diagnosed with depression, but I'm pretty confident that I know I've been depressed for sure. So am I depressed forever if I have depression? I don't know. I wonder how you feel about that.
Yeah, I think everyone obviously goes through periods of grief, but I also think whether you're diagnosed or not, if you think you have some kind of mental health disorder, you're probably right. Like, if you think there's really something wrong that you can't address through like the things people say, like drink water, exercise, blah, 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 all this stuff, like you're probably right. How many people say that? They're like, oh, have you tried like losing weight about your depression? Fuck you. Like, come on. No, but I take Zoloft. Thanks anyway.
Leanne's always talking about drinking water. I'm sorry, that was just so funny. She's like, I don't drink enough water. That's my problem. I don't drink enough water.
That and sleep. I'm always like, those are my answers, and then I just don't do them. So then it's like, oh well, that's what it was.
Yeah, they help, but they're not gonna like cure everything. Yes. But so yeah, the things, like, if we just want to do a little charting, I struggle with panic disorder, depression, hypochondria, PTSD, and substance abuse issues. So it's a really fun time over here.
Hey, that's a full list, and that's
got a rap sheet.
you do have a rap sheet, mental health rap sheet. I want to give you credit for saying that, though. Thank you for sharing that and being honest about that. It's no jokes. All jokes aside, that's not easy for everyone to do, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because you're willing to do that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like it's just like if I had like diabetes or like I don't know, it's like anything else. Like it just is something. It doesn't have anything to do with moral character, anything like that. And I actually think in a lot of ways, I wonder if you all maybe have similar feelings. Like the ways that I've struggled with my mental health have actually given me very like specific and unique skills that other people don't have. Like, for example, my extreme anxiety means I am always like very prepared. I'm very prepared for everything. In a way that some people just aren't. And it started because of like fear and anxiety and panic. But now it's just kind of like, that's just how I live my life. And it's kind of like an asset to me. So sometimes it can teach you things or be helpful. As you struggle, you get better at doing other stuff.
That's beautiful. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I have a question.
Yes.
So, okay, first of all, were you diagnosed with these or yes? Okay.
Some of them, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So do you mind me asking, like, kind of when you thought that it went from just being anxious because it's like a nervous situation to being something that you needed to go and get help for? And kind of like, would you be able to just kind of walk people through like what that kind of looked like? If you can remember, like sometimes we can't, but.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good question. So the first time I was diagnosed, I think with panic disorder and depression, I was in high school. I think I was like 16 or 17. And I went into like a massive, like dissociative, like episode. Like I don't know the exact term, but it was like when I would look in the mirror, like I wouldn't recognize myself. It was like very frightening, like sort of mind and body, like totally separate from each other. And it was so disorienting and terrifying that I couldn't go to school. I had like a part-time job. I couldn't go to work. I was just kind of like under a blanket for 2 weeks. And like, if I looked in the mirror, I would just start crying and freaking out. It was really scary. So I was like, okay, this is not good. Like, this is not something that I can get through. So I mean, my mom was there with me and kind of encouraged me to go to the doctor. And I was prescribed some antidepressants, or I don't know. I was on Paxil as a kid.
I tried that for a minute. I remember that.
Yeah. So
yeah, dry mouth, very dry.
Yeah. So I did that for a while and that helped. And then, I mean, there's been other times too. Like, for example, in college, I went through like substance abuse issues as a result of certain sexual violence or traumatic situations that happened to me. And like, once I realized again, like I'm not functioning in life, I was like, okay, it's time to like get out of this situation and try something else. And then when I moved to Memphis, I was about 22 and I was just like, I felt like spiraling every day. I would do like the thing where you wake up and you're like, today's the first day. I'm like, it's ultimatum time. I'm never drinking.
First day podcast.
Yeah, but in a psychotic way, not a good way.
Oh, trust me. It's born out of psychotic thoughts from both of us. Trust me. We've had a million, hey, tomorrow's the first day of the rest of our lives. We're going to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like that every day. And every day I would fail. Like every single day I would fail.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to therapy and I've been in therapy now for like, I don't know, 6 years. Yeah, I'm 28.
Good for you.
Wonderful.
Here.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
That's wonderful.
Maintenance.
Yeah, for sure. And in the pandemic, I got back on meds. I'm taking Zoloft now. And I have gone through periods of complete sobriety and abstinence from everything and really reevaluated my relationship with alcohol. And so now I have like such a better relationship to it where like I don't feel like I need to drink. I can kind of keep my eye on it. I will go weeks without drinking at all. So yeah, there's been many check-ins, and there will, I'm sure, be many more. Like, it's not ever like done, which is really frustrating sometimes. But those are a few of the times where I was like, okay, we really need to adjust and get help and just figure out a way through, because what I'm doing alone is not working.
Yes, well said. We're talking live here with Emily Rooker. Fantastic stuff. Please follow her on all social medias. Emily Rooker. It's not hard to find. You can follow her on Instagram at erookstagram, and her music is incredible. Please check out the music. If you like music, you enjoy music, and you're a human being, so you probably do. She's got a great voice. You play some instruments too, don't you?
Yeah, I play piano mostly. I can sort of play guitar, and I've played drums like twice in live performances, so we'll list that too.
Cool.
Yeah. You're on Spotify. You're like everywhere, aren't you?
Anywhere you can stream music, you can find me.
Yes. Okay. Check that out, guys. Seriously, give her the time and energy. She deserves it. Give her 5 minutes. Oh. You'll never go back. I promise. I mean, never not go back is what I mean. You will always be a part of that musical
never
experience.
Go back.
Yeah. Give her 5 minutes and you'll never listen to it again.
You will be depressed and not ever go back.
Hey, I love crying. If a music makes me cry, that's a good song. I have no problem with that. Josh wants to know, what was it like? You saw someone else in the mirror, Emily. I can relate to those feelings when you're talking about your episodes that you've gone through.
100%. It was like, it was a full-on dissociative, like, I don't know who that is. I was like, how is my brain inside of that? It was very jarring and not good.
Oh, I believe it was not good at all. Yeah, that's very intense. We also have a few more comments to catch up on. Josh says, I always push my wife to do things for her when she has doubts about doing things for herself.
Yes.
It's important to do things that make you happy regardless of societal norms. True.
Agreed.
Can't be afraid to be open with mental health sometimes. Break the views on mental health. That's right, Josh. That's what we're trying to do here. And always be open. You can talk about mental health. Yeah, it's good to find people that you can connect with. In this podcast, for example, you can connect with us, First Day Pod, firstdaypod@gmail.com if you want to email us. And all social medias, the First Day Pod, me, Leanne, Emily. You can connect with any of us. I'm sure Emily's open to would somebody message you, would you say, hey, go to hell? I got shit to do.
No. I would not.
I didn't think you would. I was just checking.
No, I respond to like basically all of my DMs unless I like miss it and like just don't see it. So yeah, I love when people reach out to me. It's always like, I'm sure you've experienced it too. It's like humbling and very strange when someone is like, you really helped me with what you said or what you did. It's like, cool. I don't know how I did that.
Yeah. It's inspiring though. It is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
There's nothing wrong with feeling good for, it's like someone told me, like, if you help people the rest of your life and you were selfish about it, who gives a shit? You're helping people. Like, if you, I really enjoy helping people, but I'm kind of selfish about it. Great. People are being helped. It doesn't matter how you feel about it.
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Ed says, that is an important statement to believe. Mental health issues has nothing to do with willpower, strength, or poor moral character. Yes, thank you. That's exactly what Emily was saying. Ed knows that as well as anybody. Ed himself. Emily, you don't know Ed that well, but he's had plenty of his own struggles. He's shared openly and honestly in our book club too, by the way, which you guys can check out every Monday night. We do a 1 hour book club, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. If you want to join us, we do 1 hour. We get in, we get out, we move on with our life. We don't hold you over. We don't, go on for hours, right, Leanne?
Right.
Yeah.
She's trying to get her water in right now.
I know. What a dick I am. This is the book we're doing right now. This book's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So we do focus on nonfiction, call it self-improvement, whatever the hell you want to call it. But we're just trying to learn about other ways to help ourselves and others. So that's what we're doing right now. And if you guys want to check that out, email the show, firstdaypod@gmail.com. All right, Emily Rooker, what is the scariest thing a person can do?
Oh my God.
In your opinion?
Fly on a plane.
I agree.
I'm kidding. Kind of. I am really scared of flying.
I'm terrified. I am terrified. I asked a flight attendant to get, what do we call him? Oh, is stewardess bad or flight attendant?
I think flight attendant is right. I think stewardess is the outdated language.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I blew it.
It's okay. Your first instinct was good.
Yeah, you were right.
Yay!
Yay.
Well, I asked the flight attendant to get off a flight after we were sitting there for 45 minutes. We weren't leaving. I'm like, can I can I get off this flight?
Can
And
I
I was wearing
leave?
this. Yes, and she let me. She's like, oh, you poor soul. She was Southern.
Yeah, I once on a flight from Dublin to Boston, I basically just had like an 8-hour panic attack. It was really not good. So yeah, flying on a plane.
Oh man.
I don't know, like a more serious answer. Scariest things someone can do. I think the scariest thing you can do is to go for your dream not knowing if it's going to work out, not caring if like how people think of you, just sort of like taking a leap of faith and trusting the world and the people around you to take care of you is very scary and difficult.
Wow. That's beautiful. And yet you do it.
I do, and it is scary.
So
It
how
is.
do you get through it? Like, how do you get yourself to get on stage and get in front of the camera and get in front of social media and people, and how do you do it?
Yeah. Well,
It's so
one,
vulnerable.
therapy. Two, I mean, I've never really had stage fright. So it's not the getting up on stage that's the problem. It's this past year I decided to like make the leap and pursue music full time. And part
That's the
of
scary part.
yeah,
Awesome.
it is. And part of what allowed me to do that was realizing that I had let like the fear of failing like keep me from doing it, and I had to reevaluate like what success even means. Like what is failing at it? Like what even is that unknown thing? And by not trying, I mean you're failing anyway. So
Yeah.
there's that, but really what pushed me is I was thinking about death a lot, and I was just thinking like I don't know how long I'm going to get to live. I don't know like what this world has in store for me, but I only get, according to my religious beliefs, this one life. And I just want to be happy and I want to enjoy it. Like I don't want to not do the things I love because I'm scared of what someone else is going to think. What a waste.
Yes.
So that's really what pushed me. I was more scared of literally dying and not having done the things I wanted to do than I was of failing. So that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds
Okay.
familiar to me.
47 minutes in, I got to remember that because that needs to be like a quote that everybody just
Put
gets.
it on the wall.
Yes. Oh my God. That was so good.
Yeah, Leon, I say it all the time. You know that. Death is knocking on our door. We got to get our asses moving. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know. It
Yeah.
sounded more like lyrical.
she was
Emily.
much
It
more
sounded-
poetic about it.
It
I
I'm
did.
a
agree
writer,
completely.
okay? Yeah.
Yes. Hey, it was poetic. It was beautiful. I tell people that you're welcome all the time that what are you going to care now? When people say, well, I can't do that because of this, it's not going to matter in 40 years when you're dead, or if you're on your deathbed, or you're kind of slowing down, you're dying at a nursing home all sad and depressed. It won't matter then. You're going to look back and be like, well, that didn't mean anything. If people could gain the perspective of an 85-year-old, the world would change in a very, very rapid way. It really would.
I agree. I think, and this applies into everything in life. Like for the longest time, I was like, I've also struggled with like eating disorders, all of that. Like,
Hey, me too.
what a fun time.
Living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream. For the longest time, I was always like really concerned with weight and becoming skinny and all this stuff. And I mean, I work out and eat healthier now than I ever have, and I'm not skinny and it's fine. But I was just like, this is so sad. Like this one life and this one body, and I'm spending all this energy trying to change it when I could be doing literally anything else. Like it just made me sad. I was like, I'm not going to try and be like, I'm not going to waste all my precious energy trying to change myself so hard when I could use it to do something else.
Beautiful. That is such a good message. Oh my Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle says sometimes if it feels scary, that is when you push through. That's kind of what Emily's saying here.
Yeah.
Great point, Michelle.
And Ed says, if I'm in the audience, not picture me in my underwear. I'm not responsible for your response if you do.
Ed.
Oh, Ed, you're such a goofball. We love
I
it.
don't need to see anyone in their underwear in my head. Also, I'm a pole
Yeah.
dancer. I see people like half naked all the time. It would not shock me at all.
Yeah, we're alike in that sense. I'll go up on stage. I don't care who's out there. I'll say anything. I don't have, like, flying on a plane, I'm terrified. But going up on stage, I feel right at home. I really do.
Same.
It's so weird. I was born that way. I don't think I learned it. It just kind of happened. But
I know.
Josh says, well, I can say you are the only person who described an experience that I have myself. Makes me not feel like the only one. Thanks for sharing, Emily. Well, that's beautiful.
Josh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's really, really, that's cool.
That's
very cool.
Josh is he's not shy about it. Josh has had many challenges. Currently deals with mental health disorders that are very, very cause tons of dysfunction for him, and he's trying to do the best he can as a father of two and a husband, and so he gets it. So any words that we can share that people connect with,
Oh,
makes
thanks,
a big
Ed.
difference. So. Yeah, Ed says, Emily, you rock and are very beautiful. Ed, that is very
Thank you,
kind of
Ed.
Wow.
Rude.
Say
Yeah.
more.
Woo! Ed, wow.
Please stop. Please stop.
Man.
Stop. I hate it.
But the battle of the bulge, if you will. I don't have a better term, a better phrase, but me and Leanne, shit. I mean, that's what we do.
That's it.
We have spent so much time. I don't like to focus on weight, and me and Leanne have had a tremendous debate about scale and not having a scale at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a scale anywhere. Leanne likes to have the scale. Why do you like to have the scale, Leanne?
I don't like it. I fall back.
Whoa.
No. I don't like it, but I fall back into this thing because I weighed myself. I just met up with a friend that I hadn't talked to in probably 15 years. And I was telling her that I was like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight. Like I'm doing it. And she goes, you have been trying to lose weight since like I've known you and I met you in grade 7. She's like, I remember grade 7 you were on a diet and you still haven't changed and you still look the same. Like you, but in the mirror, I didn't look. I mean, it wasn't what you were talking about, but in the mirror, I saw somebody much, much larger than who I actually was, because then I would see pictures of me. It was very odd. I would see pictures of me and be like, wow, that was a really good camera. Like the camera made me look so good. Like that was so deceiving.
Yeah.
And I would see the people sitting at the table. And when I was sitting at the table, I felt like I was the biggest and everybody else was the smallest. And then I would see the picture and be like, wow, it was like a funhouse camera. Like it was very weird. And so
Crazy
I would
how
always,
that happened.
yeah, I'd always feel that way. And then now it's just recently in the last 2 years. Well, since I've been with you, Mike, I've been really trying not to weigh myself. But then I'll fall back into it and I'll tell myself that, oh, if I want to get healthy, then I have to weigh myself so I can see what my number is. And then that's how I know and that's how I gauge. And I'm only doing it for the goal. So then I have something tangible. Well, the tangible is that I can do it in my pants. That's the tangible.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be the fact that I'm like, I weigh this and I weigh that. So
Yeah.
why do I like it? I don't like it, but I fall back into old programming a lot.
Yeah. So this is something I've thought so much about. And I mean, if you do like the scale, eventually, like keep it. It's not gonna, your weight can't hurt you. Like knowing that number is not going to like point a gun at you.
Right.
But I think it's really important to unpack like why we think being bigger is bad in the first place. Like, why do we hate bigger bodies so much? Like there's so much in that. And B, like you get to decide what health means for you. Like, is it about doing something you want to do? Is it about, it means something different to everyone. And health has almost nothing to do with weight, really, if you look at science. So anyway, one tip I will say, and this is what I do this with myself because I still struggle. I mean, we still live in a society that is like, be thin, bitch.
I was just going to say, I had the answer to your query. It's advertising. Advertising is everything. It's awful.
Totally. But have you ever had this phenomenon where you look at like a picture of yourself, even from like a year ago, and you're like, I look so hot in this picture. Like, what happened to me?
Yeah.
I just always remind myself, like, the picture that I take today, a year from now, and be like, you look so hot. And I just try to channel that into today and be like, you look so hot, like right now.
That is amazing. That is so good.
Yeah.
Yes. That's so good. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I love
Yeah.
that.
By the way, Ed says he's 50, so he's making fun of himself. So
Good for you, Ed.
from his earlier comment. Ed loves to self-deprecate. He's the best. Body image at a scale, you can quantify results. Look, advertising makes all of us feel bad about ourselves. That's why advertising exists. They want you to buy stuff because that's their job. Hey, you don't have this. You're missing this. You don't have that. Get this by doing this with our product. And it's
100%.
awful.
Yes.
I fucking hate advertising so much. People that work in advertising, I don't hate you personally, but I really loathe the fact that you work in that industry. We all need a paycheck. I get that. We all need to survive. I Ubered overnight. It was a terrible job. I did it. I get it. But gosh, advertising causes so much mental damage in this country. It really does.
Yeah. And it's exactly right. Like, even it's everything with weight and body image is often just designed to sell you products, which if you want to buy them, like I love glittery eyeshadow and lipstick. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm buying the shit, whatever, but you don't have to.
Right.
And something that always comes up, and I was just talking about this yesterday, like people are like, well, if you don't care about weight, you don't care about health. And I think this is a great place to talk about this on a mental health podcast. Weight is not an indicator of health. If you think I'm wrong, you can read about it. And health is not an indicator of moral character at all. Like, people who are sick can still be good people. Like, why is health, whatever that is, it's a moving target, the ultimate arbiter of who's good and who's bad? I unsubscribe from that. Like, when my grandfather was dying of pancreatic cancer, he was very unhealthy. He was also very thin, but he was very unhealthy. And that didn't make me love him less. It didn't make him a worse person. It affected nothing about his moral character. It was just a status of his health. So why we think that that is like the utmost qualifier of who's good and who has value is bullshit.
That is amazing. Yes.
I completely agree. Yes. Yeah. Damn it. Yes. Yeah. Subliminal messages. Yeah. It's not even subliminal. It's just straight in your face with some of these messages too. It's
gotten ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a free for all. Ed says, I bought a scale that would voice your weight. When I first stepped on the scale, it said step one at a time, please. Ed jokes. Ed only makes fun of himself because he survives. He's a survivor. That's why. Yes. We love you, Ed. Josh says picks at insecurities. That is what advertising is all about. It's all crap. We all know it's crap, but yet it gets inside our brain. That's the insidious part of it. Even we all say, that's not cool. We shouldn't do that anymore. And there's been efforts made in the last 10 to 15 years with like, what do they call them? Plus size? Is that what it's called? Plus size models? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So I appreciate that, and that's cool. But it should also just be like a norm. It shouldn't be like, oh, these are the special ones over here.
Right.
Right.
You know? I know. I agree. I mean, even like I once described myself in therapy as fat, which is not like a bad word. It's just a descriptive word. If someone describes themselves as skinny, you're not like, no, you're not skinny. And my therapist like had a conniption. She's like, you're not fat. And I was like, why do you think it's so bad for someone to be fat? Like, let me live. You don't correct me when I say my hair is blonde. Like, it's okay. I'm good, honey. I look good. I feel good. It's okay.
That is so good.
And a side point to that too is like, what's wrong with me accepting the fact if it is a reality anyways, even if it was not great. I'm just being honest. People are like, no, it's okay. I know it. I'm not going to live in denial. I understand what's going on with me right now. Yeah.
I can see.
Yes. I see the looks on people's faces every day I go out. I understand. They hate me.
Right.
They're like, that fat guy. They hate me. Why do they hate me? I just eat too much food. I got a problem. I'll get better. I promise. Don't give up on me.
I love food.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. We had a wonderful anniversary dinner over the weekend. It was our 2-year anniversary, and we ate because we said, you know what? Let's just enjoy ourselves. And we had a wonderful dinner, didn't we, Leanne?
We did. It was wonderful. Yeah.
Because we put so much pressure on ourselves, and we want, I want to be healthy. I do. I want to take care of myself because I want to live a long time. Now, I'm not trying. If my blood pressure is high because of the food I'm eating, that's a problem. That is a health problem, right?
For sure.
So, but the weight thing is different. I completely agree with you on that. It's just a matter of me personally. I know that I'm not living the best life that I want to be living. Not what society wants. Like, I've felt better in my life physically, and I feel better mentally when it's all put together because I'm taking care of myself. That's all. That's how I see it.
I mean, I agree 100%. And I think too, like, one example I can bring up is I had some cholesterol issues. My cholesterol was high and I worked really hard. I like changed my diet up. I was like, did all these things, whatever. And now my cholesterol is awesome. I did not lose any weight, but I am healthier as a result of these choices. And so it's like, I think that we should do whatever we want to do that makes us feel good. And if we feel healthy and we want to be healthy, cool. But it doesn't mean you're going to lose weight, and being bigger is fine. Like it's all good.
Yes. I love that.
You have a tremendous perspective. You really do. I'll give you full credit for that. Oh my God, our time has flown by. We're going to wrap up the show. I can't believe it. This has been so much fun. I really enjoy this. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you ever want to come back, you're more
I'm going to put her on the spot. She has to come back.
Please have me back. This was so fun.
I have like a whole list, and my memory is awful when we have people on. I'll have like questions, and then I'm like at the end, I don't even know. I have a whole list of questions that I want to be asking you and just talking with you. And so, yeah, you have to come on. You can just decide when.
Great.
So we won't put you on the spot.
Pick another day. I mean, I'll text you guys or whatever, but I would love to come back. This has been great. I do want to, before we go, because we've been talking about body image and all this stuff, there's 2 books that like changed my life and like gave me a lot of freedom. So if anyone's interested, I would highly recommend reading Health at Every Size by Linda Bacon, which is part 1 is like dispelling myths about weight and health, and part 2 is like an actual nutrition guide if you want to change your diet or whatever. Awesome. And the second book is The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor, which is like a self-love manual that is just amazing. And they both gave me so much peace and freedom. I cannot recommend them highly enough to everyone.
What was the second one? The Body Is Not a what?
An Apology.
The Body Is Not an Apology. Beautiful.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good.
That is awesome. Okay. So we're going to, Mike will make a note of it. I'll make a post of it.
I'm posting these in the live chat too. So people check those out. They're recommendations from Emily Rooker. You can follow her at erookstagram on Instagram and anywhere else. But remember, more importantly than anything else, besides her wonderful, wonderful, useful information that she shared about her own existence and overall human existence, she's a great singer and artist and musician, and she's going for it. She's staring her dream in the face, terrified, but moving forward. So please, let's all give her a follow and a connection on whatever musical platform you prefer. Emily Rooker. That's how you can find her. No one name, no Madonna, no Cher. It's just Emily Rooker. Okay?
Yeah. Check out her new single is Waves. It is beautiful. Please check it out. And your new album, when do you think it'll be coming out?
It should be coming out in March of 2022. There will be a few more singles coming, like one a month until then. So stay tuned. I post a lot on Instagram and all social media. So yeah, let's connect.
Awesome. Oh,
great. Thank you so much, Emily. This has been fantastic. Emily Rooker, everybody. For Leanne, I'm Michael Govier, firstdaypodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget book clubs, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. If you want to connect with us, email or DM us on your favorite social media, and we'll send you the link. And you can just join in anytime. You can audit whenever you feel comfortable with, guys. We know how it goes when it comes to new ventures. Thanks to Emily Rooker. Thank you, everybody. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.